Hello, everyone. Good evening, Lemon Nation. Welcome to Live at 5. I have been getting some stuff together. By the way, I had a little bit of a doggy problem. The doggy had an accident when I was a little sick, so it took me a while to get my shit together. Because, I got a life like you guys. So sometimes things happen, but welcome. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for waiting. I'm so happy today. We have our legends. We're going to get to the legends. Let's just show the legends for a little bit. The Lemon Legends are up there, and we're going to get to them in a little bit. I'm sure they're very opinionated. They got a lot to say. I have been gone. I've been away on vacation. I heard you guys have been emailing. You have questions for me, all the things. And we're going to get to all the things. So today is our legend show, but we've got some business to take care of before we get to our legends. They're gonna have a lot to talk about. Okay, so make sure you hit the like. You guys know the thing, and for you guys, you are my co-hosts and my reporters and producers in the audience, the Lemonheads. Remind people to hit that thumbs up. Remind people to subscribe. Remind them to become members, okay? Just because it's summer, you can't fall off. Folks are falling off a little bit this summer. And I understand that it's slow in the summer, but look, there's a lot going on in this world, and we need to be cognizant of that and make sure that we stay aware of what's happening in the world and informed. And in order for you to be informed, I think you're going to need me. So anyways, thank you so much for joining. Okay. A question, Andy, just put up don't play the Karen Bass thing, but just put it up. This is what we have for you a little bit later on. Just put the still up, like without playing it. I don't know if you can do that, can you? So there it is. Not long before the show as well, which is one of the reasons that I'm scrambling around. I interviewed the mayor of Los Angeles, and wait till you hear what she has to say about Donald Trump, about what's happening in Los Angeles, about the National Guard being there, and about the Marines and all of those folks being on the ground, and how she says Los Angeles feels like, to some of her residents, like it is occupied, like they're living in a military state. And he's not targeting any red cities. You know what I'm saying? So she's very outspoken about it. You're going to hear from Karen Bass a little bit later on. But can we talk? I've been wanting to talk about this, and I've been talking to the producers. I'm like, did you guys talk about this Epstein thing? Because I haven't had a chance to speak on it, and it's really been bothering me, okay? And because the sheer hypocrisy of it all. Oh my gosh, Epstein didn't himself. What about Epstein? Oh, who's going to be in there? What Dems? All the Dems are in there. Well, they're ignoring everybody except for the Republicans or the folks who've become Republican light. They're ignoring the Dershowitz. I'm not saying they did anything, but they were obviously connected to him. They have like not even a memory hold. They have like a present hold on Donald Trump. I'm just saying. Now, wouldn't you think that wouldn't be the first thing that they did when they got into office, because they made Epstein such a big deal, is to check it out? I mean, they could have checked Epstein out. By the way, let me just tell you how dumb this is. They could have checked him out before, because Donald Trump was president for the whole Epstein thing. I mean, that's really all I need to say. And then Joe Biden became president. And then they blame the whole thing on Joe Biden, which is really odd, isn't it? Does that even make sense? That's all people need to say. Let's see. Hang on one second. Let me just do it. Okay, hold on. Hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure that I'm right. Y'all know that Jeffrey Epstein died in 2019, right? But I mean, just the logic. I don't know if it's not even the logic, just the illogic of it, if that's a word. Is that a word? Illogical. Just the nonsense of it is that all of this, he was, let's see. When did he go in? He went in, I believe, under Trump, and he passed away. I don't want to say it because of the algorithm, because it's easy for to do that. Under Trump. That's really all you need to say, because, they're like, oh, this is a Joe Biden, and the Democrats are trying to cover it up. And can you believe the Biden crime family and all that? Oh my gosh. How? And then people fall for it. When all they have to do is a simple internet search and they will realize they could have done this big investigation back in 2019. Trump was still in office until 2020. I'm just saying. Idiots. That's why I've been wanting to speak on this. Okay. And so here's the breaking news as it relates to Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump, according to reports, allegedly, Donald Trump, this is a Daily Beast, Trump held talks on pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell. That's according to a biographer. You know, biographer is Michael Wolff. Let's just peruse this just for a little bit, okay? There is Joanna Coles over there. President, now, if there's some sound, check it out, Peter. Maybe there's some sound that we can play from the Joanna Coles interview. I would like to hear it. President Donald Trump waived pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell for fear that she would spill secrets about his decade-long friendship with convicted child, do you know what, offender Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, again, I'm just saying here. And none of it makes sense, okay? None of it, absolutely none of it makes sense. After Maxwell, who's 63, was arrested by the FBI in July of 2020 for allegedly helping Epstein run his trafficking ring operation, luring and grooming young girls into a web of abuse, Trump grew very wary and began asking, what could she say? What would she say? That's what Michael Wolff said on the Daily Beast podcast. Let me know when you get that, because I know, but I want to hear him saying it. Trump and Epstein had been friends since the 1980s. Wolff described them as two guys joined at the hip for 15 years. Okay. There they are. And MAGA seems to somehow, they don't see that. It's like, oh, look, oh my God. When they look at this picture, you know what they say? Look at Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell with Bill and Hillary Clinton. That's what they see. Or they say, look at Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell with Joe and Jill Biden. Or they say, look at Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell with Barack and Michelle Obama. That's what they say. But somehow they're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a Democrat thing, and he just didn't do it himself. So the question is, if you think that Jeffrey Epstein is the thing that they say, you know, they always say Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, right? That's what they always say. So if he didn't, and it was under Trump's administration, then who did it? Who would have the power to do all that? Certainly wouldn't be Joe Biden, because Joe Biden wasn't even president yet. Didn't even know he was going to be elected. It makes no sense, but somehow it makes sense to the MAGA-brained idiots out there. It somehow makes sense to them. I don't know. I don't get it. Do we have the podcast with Michael Wolff?
No, we don't.
Okay. How long do you think it'll be? Because let me just show you. This is what I'm saying. So when I told you, when they look at that picture, that's what they see, is this. But when they look at also this video of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein just, hanging out buddies. When they look at that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at Joe Biden with Jeffrey Epstein, y'all. Look, it's Bill Clinton. Oh my God. It is Barack Obama with Jeffrey Epstein. Look at him. Can you believe it? I cannot believe that there's a Democrat. It is Adam Schiff. Look at Adam Schiff dancing with them. Look at Hillary Clinton dancing. I cannot believe this. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm wearing the wrong glasses. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I had on my MAGA glasses. And my MAGA glasses led me to believe that the man in this video and in the pictures, the couple, that it was a Democrat. Oh my God, no, it's Donald Trump. As soon as you take the MAGA glasses off, you realize that it's Donald Trump, who has been friends and friendly for decades with who? Jeffery Epstein. Jeffery Epstein told Michael Wolff, or told someone at least a while ago, that they were friends. Donald Trump was his best friend. Donald Trump was his best friend. That's what he said. Now, I don't know, why isn't MAGA getting all like bent out of shape about that one? I don't get it. Why aren't they all bent out of shape? Stand by. About that. Interesting. Okay, we're going to hear Michael Wolff on the Daily Beast podcast. Andy?
See, it's on the website, but you won't be able to hear the sound, so I'm trying to just download it.
There's no sound. Okay, well, let's show some other stuff. All right. So Trump and Epstein partying. This was decades. This is for a long time. Let me just tell you. And so now Donald Trump is being asked about this. They're asking him, hey, what happened when you're supposed to release all of these files? And then I'm going to get to what, more of how I feel about it. I was just stalling a little bit until Andy gets that because I really want to hear it. So Donald Trump was asked about a reporter like, oh my gosh, people are freaking out about this Epstein thing. What are you going to do about it? And then, Donald Trump, he's always like, what? Epstein, and when someone asks him about like David Duke or anything, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Never met David Duke. What? The Ku Klux Klan? I don't know him. Even when people would get in trouble in his administration, they would go to jail, all of those things. I never met the person. What are you talking about? Michael Flynn? I don't know him. I have never met him. And then he ends up like pardoning them, but he doesn't know who they are. I don't know. Never seen him. I don't know anything about that. I know nothing about Project 2025. I've never heard about Project 2025. That is a lie. Don't know the man. Oh, I'm sorry. Project 20. I don't know Project 2025. I have no idea. No earthly idea. I don't know. Here's Donald Trump being asked by a reporter about, wait, what happened to the Epstein files? And why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail for apparently a client list and all of that if there's nothing there? If there's no evidence to put her in jail or convict her of anything, why is she there if it's nothing? Now, before he said, it talks about wanting to pardon her. Interesting, that coincidence. Now he wanted to pardon her because maybe he knew that they were going to do something, maybe get rid of the evidence, allegedly, reportedly. Here it is.
He allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the minute set?
Yeah, sure.
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
So all of a sudden, nothing there. Y'all, something is not right in whatever they call it. Something is not sitting right. It's really unbelievable. I know that there are conspiracy theories out there. I don't like to get into conspiracy theories, but when I'm sitting here thinking about why all of this is taking place the way it is, all of a sudden there were people running out of that White House, Laura Loomer and others like, oh, we have Epstein files. Nothing. Produced nothing. Oh, we have this, we have that. Produced nothing. Do we have Pam Bondi on Fox News talking about they're going to release all of the things on Epstein? Nope. Don't have it.
Sorry, I was muted. It'll take me 1 second, but I'll get it.
Okay. Let's get Pam Bondi on the Fox News, please. Still don't have it?
Not yet. Sorry, it's taking me a second.
Okay. While we wait for Pam Bondi on Fox News, let's play. I want to play Dan Bongino talking about, first, let me show you Dan Bongino then and now. All right. Dan Bongino had a really successful right-wing podcast where he could just talk, make up conspiracy theories, and rely on his history as a former FBI agent or whatever he was, Secret Service or whatever. And so he would say, oh, I know these things, right? Pretend he knew everything. And so he could just spout off untruth, lies all the time. It was easy for him to do it. Something happened. Jeffrey Epstein, they should do it. Something is fishy there, and they need to release it. Now, I want you to see the difference between him in 2023 and then once he sat in that seat and perhaps who knows what happened behind the scenes and what they actually found out. And then they got to come out and talk and say the real thing. They can't lie, because if they lie, I guess he might pardon them, but they, might be subject to some sort of prosecution. Here it is.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Oh my gosh, you gotta love it. I mean, come on. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Pam Bondi on the Fox News. Here it is.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
I wish we had her before. There's a clip of her before that I've seen where she's like, we're going to release it. We're finding all this information. Not only that, we want to know about JFK, and we also want to know about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. There's so much juicy information. And then she's like, I haven't seen anything. And why haven't they seen anything? Why can't they just come out and say, either Donald Trump's in there a lot, we've decided not to release it, or whatever? I'm just saying, I mean, does that not seem fishy to you guys? Does it not seem fishy to you guys? Okay, so you saw Dan Bongino back in the day when he was on his podcast, when he could talk shit, when he didn't have to rely on facts, when he could just, didn't just like, and rile people up to get the clicks up, to make that money. Dan Bongino, once again, and Kash Patel saying, you know, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. Here it is.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Did they not look like they wanted to cry? Yeah, he killed himself. You know, I've seen it. I've seen it all. He killed himself. It pains them to say it, or they look like it's a hostage video. I love it. Now, here is Dan Bongino again being asked about again, and this is what they're saying. Here you go.
You know what, Maria? Kash is not kidding. We've been personally briefed extensively on every single detail, nugget, tendril of this case. One is actively in court right now, so out of respect for the case, it's probably more appropriate that I stay quiet on that. However, I'm not going to tell people what they want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth, and whether you like it or not is up to you. If there was a big explosive there, right? Given my history as a Secret Service agent and my personal friendship as a director does with the president, give me one logical, sensible reason we would not have. If you can think of one, there isn't. There in some of these cases, the there you're looking for is not there. And I know people, I get it. I understand. It's not there. If it was there, we would have told you.
Okay. So he's addressing the shooting, right? The Trump thing. I believe it's in Butler, Pennsylvania, right? And also Jeffrey Epstein. Now, that interview came out before this latest round of we don't know what happened. We don't know what's going on. That interview was before, and I was like, something looks fishy about that interview. Something's up with that interview. What's going on with that interview? And I just laughed. I was like, that looks like a hostage video. Huh. Interesting. So, you know, they have these Trump stands, these Trump glazers, these folks who have been like Dan Bongino. They don't have to rely on facts. It doesn't matter to them. It's feelings. It's conspiracy theories. It's clicks. It's, I want my podcast to rank higher. I want whatever it is, my radio show to rank higher. So they can come up with all of these conspiracy theories, and which is when I went around during the election talking to all of these young college guys, mostly white guys, and they were listening to all these podcasts. They would be saying the same thing. Something's up with Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Oh, it's all about Bill Clinton. It's all about this. It's all about that. And nothing about Donald Trump. Because they were listening to these guys. And as it turns out, now these guys are like, oh, shit, I built a whole narrative on this so that I could dupe people into watching my show because there's some conspiracy to it. And now there's nothing there. And even the Trump stands, the Trump glazers, the Trump dick riders are admitting now, yeah, wait, what's going on? Something's weird here. I don't know what's happening with the administration. This is not as advertised. This is like, this is becoming like Pizzagate. Here it is. This guy, what's his name? Andrew Schultz and whatever this podcast. I think it's called Flagrant. There it is. Here you go.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? We have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
So we're stupid. Yeah. we're the fucking idiots, guys. That is, I think, what is enraging people right now is it's insulting our intelligence. Like, obviously the intelligence community is trying to cover it up. Obviously the Trump administration is trying to cover up. Something changed. because they ran on this idea of exposing it all. All these guys had great ideas. Cockeyed Cash, Dan Bongino.
He had clips, Doug. He had bars.
He was ready to tear it all down. He was ready to tear down the entire FBI office.
Shut down the Hoover building day one.
Day one.
That bitch still standing.
And then he goes on Joe Rogan and he's like, listen, do you think if I had it, I wouldn't share it with you?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I do believe that 100%, especially when you're staring at me like this, telling me that. Once you protect pedophiles, you are the most cockeyed person in the entire world.
So one of two things, in my mind, is it possible. One, you're covering it up. Or two, nothing really happened and you exploited the rape of thousands of children to get your man elected. So which one do you want here?
Okay, and these are the very guys who were promoting Donald Trump during the election. Based on somewhat on, and they're not the only ones, based somewhat on this bullshit like this. So either you're in there a lot, that guy's right, or nothing happened. Either way, it's bad for you. Either way, what does it do? It erases your whole narrative about the Democrats, about somebody's hiding something, that a Democrat somehow offed Epstein because they didn't want it, because of the conspiracy theory, and there were so many people, famous people, and they wanted to off Epstein because he had all of this information that was going to come out. Or Donald Trump is in there and maybe he's implicated. Now, I'm just saying that's the only, those are two of the reasons that perhaps you're saying what you're saying. Could be nothing's in there, or it could be like, oh, they could be covering for Donald Trump. And that's what reportedly, allegedly, the Daily Beast is reporting. And that is why they're saying Donald Trump wanted to what? Pardon, or had meetings about pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. I did not just fall off the cabbage truck yesterday. Or as one of their gay comedians, or one of the comedians playing a gay man said on, I forget what the show was, it's out of Canada, I may have been born yesterday, but I still went shopping. Come on, y'all. They think y'all are stupid. You know why they think you're stupid? Because you are stupid. Because you fell for it. You fall for it. And all of these, I mean, even now, the people, sorry to the people who are dealing with the issues, with the floods and all of that. Sorry to the people who are having their services taken away. Sorry to that. But then now they're realizing, oh, maybe I've been lied to. Oh, Kamala Harris was told us this all along, but we said that she was a liar and that she was not qualified. And now you get what you paid for, literally. You get what you paid for because you paid his legal bills. The donations, the money reportedly first went to his legal bills and then it went to the campaign. So you get what you paid for. How many hundreds of millions of dollars did Elon Musk give Donald Trump? And then they're now fighting. You get what you pay for. How much money did little old ladies who are living on a fixed income donate to Donald Trump because they believed in him? You get what you paid for. How many people who are the retirement and guys who are like, yeah, that Trump, I just love him. The dudes, the guys who, work in construction and do whatever and they're hard on money. And then now, you get what you pay for. Tax on tips is not exactly what you thought. It's all a lie. You get what you paid for. I want to hear from the legends about this a little bit. And then maybe we will be able to somehow hear hear Michael Wolff. I'm not sure. Let's try to figure it out. I'd love to get him up there to hear it. Okay, so let's take a break. And I want to tell you, and we're going to get back to this. We're not done. The legend, I'm interested to hear what the legends are going to say about this. Support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from Beam. Summer's here. That doesn't mean that you can slow down and take a break. The news cycle is relentless. Folks are trying to pull the wool over your eyes every single day. There's served new outrage designed to overwhelm you and take you out of the fight. That is the right trying to scare you or get you to believe in bullshit and conspiracy theories. That's why I turn to Beam's Dream Powder so that I can be rested and I can keep up the fight. A natural sleep blend designed to help you get the deep restorative rest your body and mind need to stay in the fight. Okay? Because here's the truth. You can't sustain the fight without rest. Burnout serves the people in power who love nothing more than to see you exhausted and to see you checked out. All natural ingredients, including melatonin, L-theanine, apigenin, those things, whatever they are. It helps you fall asleep, it helps you stay asleep, and it helps you wake up ready to organize, resist, and raise hell without the fog or the crash. Now, remember, I had jet lag. I took it last night. I slept like a baby. I woke up early. I was frustrated because I woke up early because I had got a restful night's sleep. All right. So since I started using my Dream Powder, my focus is back. My energy's returned. I'm ready to face the day, ready to stand for the things that really matter. Not the only one. Beam's Dream Powder has improved over 17.5 million nights of sleep for people all across the country. Right now, Beam is offering up to 40% off of their best-selling Dream Powder for my listeners. It's a limited time offer and the perfect way to overcome that exhaustion and stay in the fight every single day. Go to shopbeam.com and use the code LEMON at checkout. That is shopbeam.com/lemon. Shopbeam.com/lemon. Use the code word LEMON for up to 40% off. Sleep well, wake up ready. The fight continues. Support for the Don Lemon Show also comes from where I had what I ate for dinner last night. And that is from Wild Alaskan Company. That's fish from the Wild Alaskan Company. So support for the show today comes from the Wild Alaskan Company. I ate a lot on vacation. This is good, lean, tasty fish. So that's what we did last night. We split a packet. It is the best way to get wild-caught, perfectly proportioned, nutrient-dense seafood delivered directly to your door. Trust me, you haven't tasted fish that's this good. Okay? Again, I love it all. I like the cod. I do like the salmon. That's Tim's favorite, though. But I'm more like a white. I like a white fish, like a flaky. I grew up eating catfish. You know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. Wild Alaskan Company is the best way to get wild-caught, perfectly proportioned, nutrient-dense seafood delivered directly to your door. Okay? So Wild Alaskan is 100% wild-caught, never farmed. That means there are no antibiotics, GMOs, or additives, just clean, real fish that support healthy oceans and fishing communities. Okay? Frozen immediately to lock in the taste, the nutrients in the omega-3s. So deliver it right to your door. Flexible shipments, expert tips, truly feel-good seafood. Okay? So not all fish are the same. Go get seafood that you can trust. Go to wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off your first box of premium wild-caught seafood. And if you don't like it, money back guaranteed, no questions asked. That's wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off your first order. Thanks to Wild Alaskan Company for sponsoring this episode. Okay, thank you guys very much. We appreciate the sponsors. Let's bring in our legends now. Hello, legends. Legends, are you there? Can we get an applause? Hi, legends.
Hi, Don.
Hi, Don.
Hi, Don.
Hi, everybody.
Did you guys miss me?
Yes.
Absolutely. I miss
Absolutely.
you.
You were gone too long.
So much. For real, it was like a week and a couple of days, but thank you.
I know, but anything over 2 hours is a long time.
Oh my gosh, I love you guys. I actually worked on vacation. When that Diddy verdict came in, I was like, this is huge. Okay, so look, a lot of things that I want to talk to you about, but let's just talk. Look, can we start now with what I just said? And sorry, look, I wanted to, some of the things that didn't come up, not a big deal for what I want to talk about. I wanted to hear Michael Wolff because I can't believe I wanted to hear it out of his own mouth. Okay, so here's the deal. You guys understand what I'm saying here about it just sounds like bullshit. It's giving bullshit. It's giving bullshit. Who wants to go first? Bueller?
I'll go first, Don.
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I am really happy to see you back and happy. And secondly, now you know everything they saying is a lie. And the reason the Republican men are supporting Donald Trump is because they were all at the party. It was all at the party. They all were there, and that's
Yes.
why he gonna pardon Diddy, because he was at Diddy's next. Okay.
Okay, you know that's not that he's not
Diddy
accused of
party
that.
and they party, all of them.
So you think that there are other people involved that they're trying? Basically, you're saying they're trying to cover up for? Is that what you're saying?
I think the list is very long.
Yeah. Now listen, look, this is your personal opinion, but why do you think the list is very long? Do you think by thinking this way that you're becoming a conspiracy theorist like the other side, or no?
I don't think I'm a conspiracy theorist. What I really think is that men have needs that they want met, and they love young women. And that one video that you showed, if you would have played it longer, Donald even grabbed her butt. And it's a lot of people. And he told you, and the people that he associate with like those kind of parties, and he knows everybody's secrets. Those people are falling in line because he knows all of their secrets, and their wives can't know. And when he called, what's his name, wife ugly, he still smiled. Ted Cruz. When he called Ted Cruz wife ugly, he said, okay.
All right. Kim Page, what say you? What do you think is going on with this? Because I think it's fishy.
Well, yeah, it's obviously fishy, but we don't know for sure. My question has always been, why didn't Biden's DOJ pick this up? Why didn't they do more with it?
Mm-hmm.
That is my question. We all know that Trump was involved somehow. I don't know the extent, so I'm not going to accuse, but it is very fishy. And I think sometimes people on the outside, they think they know, and then they get in there and they see the reality, and it's, oh shit. Yeah, this is not what we thought. My other question is, I wonder if Elon has the file.
Yeah.
He had access to a lot of data.
Yeah.
So
well, when I
I'm
say
wondering about that.
When I say something is fishy, meaning the way that they are handling this, right? That and the whole process. I don't know if they were there. Trump was there. I have no idea, but something is fishy. Shannon,
Rotten in Denmark, right?
Yeah, something. Yeah, in Denmark. So Shannon, what say you?
I agree.
I like what Kim said about Elon, because he was digging. And Donald Trump has got to be so arrogant to think that he can go at him like that and not think that at some point he's going to plop these files and plop these things about the election in his lap one day. But this is my question, and this is for everybody and for you, Don. So say these files are released. What's going to come of it? Is anybody going to be prosecuted? I mean, what's going to happen if these files are open? We know that Trump is in those files. We know that. But what's going to happen? He's not going to be prosecuted for it. So what's the point? We know he's in there. It's just going to be to see who else was on the list.
Do we really know that he's in there? Well, yeah, we do. We've seen the names on there, right? The names are, Go on.
Yeah. No, that's it. If there's not going to be a prosecution, I don't understand what's the point of these files. If nobody's going to be prosecuted, if nobody's going to be held accountable, and even if they could, hasn't the statute of limitations run out for any of the women to come forward and say such and such happened to me? Hasn't the statute of limitations run out?
Okay.
Other than embarrassing Trump.
Well, I mean, it hasn't. The statute of limitations has not run out, and this is because Ghislaine Maxwell she's in jail. Go ahead, May Money.
So there was a question that you asked, or you said it's giving bullshit. It's giving, bullshittery, and I'm like, no, but it is bullshit. And I would really like us to start calling it what it is and stop looking at all of this like we're looking from the outside in. We're looking at this like for what it is. It is bullshit. And one thing that I thought was funny before I, tap out on you guys, I'm literally in the lake, was that like the guy, I don't know who those bros were, but he was like, oh, but you're just really insulting our intelligence. I'm like, well, you know what? Your intelligence is insulting because the entire time, like, you have no intelligence. So why are we just beating around the bush with these people? This is a huge waste of time when we have straight up fascism going on. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about that.
Cherokee.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, the reason that we find it fishy is because everything that he's gone after, all the way back to Central Park, no matter how much evidence was presented that it really wasn't that way, he still pursued it over and over again. Yes, it was. Obama's birth certificate. Yes, it was. 2016 election. Yes, it was. Now, all of a sudden, Epstein, they're saying, no, it's not. And he's saying, oh, well, okay, yeah, you're right. You're probably right. It's not. So it's not fitting his usual pattern. That's why we're picking up how fishy it is. And I think he thought that maybe he could separate himself, his actions and role in that situation, and just keep attacking the other ones. And when that wasn't going to work, now here we are. And they're like, oh, sweep it under the rug, sweep it under the rug. That's my opinion.
That's your opinion. Thank you very much. Katie.
Hi, Don.
Hi.
So I wrote a couple of things down. One of the things I just wrote down is Trump is the worst I'm playing dumb person I think I've ever met, because there's just so much like clear evidence that we've seen his name multiple times, like in the Epstein files. We've seen the videos with him. I literally thought he was about to lick Epstein's ear at one point. He was so close to him. Like, we know there's something fishy going on. So, and it's even more obvious just with his administration, just kind of like either backtracking everything they said or like tiptoeing around everything. And I think that's the biggest tell right there, especially with Bongino, before being like, oh, what's in the Epstein files? What's the Epstein files? And now he's like, he's dead. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
didn't Elon Musk say he's in the Epstein files? He said, didn't he tweet that out? Did he not?
Well, Musk tweeted out that Trump was in the Epstein files too, but I don't take Elon Musk as a reliable source just because of all of the things that he has done and all the things that he says too. I mean, I would think that he's probably telling the truth because he wants to hurt Trump, but he's still he's not someone I'm going to welcome back with open arms anytime soon.
Interesting. Anybody else dying to say something before I move on to something else? Go ahead, Bob.
I think seeing Donald Trump doing the white man's overbite in that video from a zillion years ago.
I'm glad you said it because they'll say I'm racist for saying that, but he's like,
does he look like he was ready to pounce on some nice young girl? To me, that makes him guilty circumstantially, but obviously everyone's innocent until they're proven guilty and all that. And I agree with a lot of what the girls were saying before, Cherokee in particular, and Shannon as well, and Katie. Yeah, I thought they all made good points. I don't disagree with anything they say, but it's just something Trump would do.
Yeah. Do you guys now, are you guys like the right in a show of hands? Do you want to see the files now? Because before, Democrats was like, I don't care about Jeffrey Epstein. But now that it's been so weird the way that they've handled it, who wants to see the files? Show of hands.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
I do.
Doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who doesn't want to see the files?
No.
Why not?
Why?
I want to see the movie.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of indifferent because I wonder to what end. We see the files and then what? We know that as a whole, this country doesn't really care about women. And if we did, this file would have been released a long time ago. And actually, maybe none of this would have happened. So my question is, to what end? Who's going to be punished for what's found on the list? It's not going to be Trump if he is on the list, allegedly.
Yeah. Right. All right.
Oh my God, I'm so with you. I don't care, because nothing's
Why?
going to come of it. It's not going to change anybody's mind about him. The MAGAs are going to rally around him and come up with the. I don't care, because I don't. It's not going to give us our rights back as women. It's not going to give Medicaid back to the people who. It's not going to help. I don't care. I don't, because nothing's
One
gonna
thing
come of it.
though, one thing though, it's the truth. We deserve to see the truth.
To know the truth.
And we've been lied to too much, and we need the truth.
Yeah.
That's my.
Kim, I was gonna piggyback on something like that. It's not necessarily about Trump. What you said about when Biden was in office and his DOJ didn't pursue it. I don't think this is just about MAGA or Trump or the Republicans. I think this is just about a lot of people in power, whether Democrat or Republican, left or right. These are about a lot of nasty people with a lot of money and a lot of power. And I, for one, I like to look the devil in the eye. I want to know who the devil is. Yeah. I want to know who I'm staring at. I want to know the truth. Not that it's going to fix anything, not that it's going to make everything better, but I want to know what I'm looking at, so that I can at least be informed going forward.
Mm-hmm. Maureen.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that too. We need to know the truth. I don't think necessarily it's going to fix everything, but it would be good to know what really went on. Getting tired of hearing about the Epstein case, but we need to know the truth of it. They're hiding something, as we know.
Well, look, I would, just to be honest with you guys. So I was on vacation when a lot of this was happening, right? When they were coming up with whatever strategy that they were using. And I wanted to talk about it. And when I was just like, you can see it I could see it from a different country that something was fishy, right? Something was not right in Denmark. I could see it. And I wanted to talk about it, but then by the time I got back, the producers and Andy and Nikki and Peter were like, we've talked about it a lot. I said, but I still haven't had my say. And then this whole Ghislaine Maxwell thing came out. And that's why I said, okay, now we have to discuss it. Now, look, I want you guys, I have an amazing interview. We'll talk about this for as long as you guys want, but I have an amazing interview that I want to play for you next. And it is an exclusive. So I want to play it for you next. But first, support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com. Look, it is not just in the workplace, but I want to talk about workplace stress, because folks are stressed out right now, but not just in the workplace, but they're stressed out in the workplace. And so how can I think you need to take this time right now to focus on wellness. And there are small steps that you can do to manage your workday challenges and other challenges as well. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health. 61% of the global workforce is experiencing higher than normal levels of stress. And so what do you need to do? You need to talk it out. You need to find a place where you can find some solace, some peace of mind, and some mental clarity. And that's where BetterHelp comes in. With should be more than 30,000 therapists. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works. It has an app store rating of 4.9 out of 5. It is convenient too. You can join a session with a therapist at the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, you can switch therapists at any time. So as the world's largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Our listeners get 10% off of their first month at betterhelp.com/DonLemon. That is betterhelp.com/DonLemon. Support for the show today also comes from the Freedom from Religion Foundation. I've been discussing, and I just wrote about something on Substack that you're going to see it, where we talk about what is happening with the folks who are on the right, who are trying to convince you that America is founded on Christian values. That is not the truth. That there should be no separation between church and state. that they are creating and implementing laws based on their religion. That should not be happening here. And that is all coming from the right. They are trying to do that. Arizona voters just protected abortion rights in that state in the Constitution. Politicians are trying to undermine that anyway. Texas is pushing bills to force the 10 Commandments into every public school classroom. Seriously. And so the Freedom from Religion Foundation has been fighting to defend church separation since 1978 in the courts, in the schools, or wherever they try to creep religion in. Okay? So thank you for the Freedom from Religion Foundation for that. Make sure you join. Go to ffrf.us/freedom or text my name, Don, to 511-511 and become a member today. Join and go to ffrf.us/freedom or text Don to 511-511 now, because the only story that should be run this country is ours, not theirs. Text fees may apply. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. Okay, back now to our legends. I just want to tell you, legends, stand by, because I want to bring you in to discuss something that's going to happen in just a minute. As a matter of fact, I think it should happen right now. I had an amazing interview, and I want you all to sit back and watch it, not just the legends, but everybody out there. And before you do, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and also become a member of the Don Lemon Show, the Don Lemon channel today. Okay. You guys know what's happening out in California. They're sending in the National Guard. They're sending in troops, military on the ground in California. Nobody's asking for it. Gavin Newsom, the governor, is not asking for it. And the mayor of Los Angeles, not asking for it as well. They believe that they're trying to undermine their authority there to make a point and make a test case, because they want to do this all over the country. I spoke to Karen Bass not long before we started this show. Here's our interview. Mayor Karen Bass, welcome to the Don Lemon Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Or as we say, welcome to the Lemonation. How are you doing?
You know what? I'm doing fine. You know, up for the fight. Very, very saddened by what is happening to so many families in our city unnecessarily. Families being torn apart for political posturing and performance. It's been a challenging time right now.
Yeah, political posturing and performance. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because it's been really immensely troubling weeks, a couple of weeks for Los Angeles, like just maybe more than a couple of weeks. My audience is very concerned with what they see as effectively a federal occupation of your city, Mayor. The latest escalation came earlier this week when armed troops marched through MacArthur Park, a park where kids play, for seemingly no reason. Now, I want to watch a clip. This is from some of what you said just a few days ago, and then we can expand on it. Here it is.
Frankly, it is outrageous and un-American that we have federal armed vehicles in our parks when nothing is going on in the parks. It's outrageous and un-American that the federal government seized our state's National Guard. It's outrageous and un-American that we have U.S. Marines who are trained to kill foreign soldiers overseas deployed in our American city. So here's the truth. There's no plan other than fear, chaos, and politics.
So my question is, what is going on here? Because I don't see the same sort of treatment of cities with mayors who happen to be Republicans and supporters of this president. So you tell me, what is going on here?
Well, I describe it as Los Angeles as a petri dish. I think they're experimenting with us, experimenting with the notion of the federal government seizing power from a governor and seizing power from a mayor and literally taking over our city with military force. And this is just such a sad picture, Don, because they're marching through a kid's summer camp. And the kids had to be brought inside because they didn't want the kids to see, because the kids understand ICE. I mean, I was downstairs talking with the kids, and I had an 8-year-old come up to me. He didn't know what was happening, but just start randomly talking about how he was afraid of ICE, and he was mad about it, and that he was afraid that they were going to come take his parents away. So what was the purpose of this other than to have a raw display of power to say we can take over your city when we want to? There were no arrests. They didn't even attempt to detain people. They pulled guns on healthcare workers that were in the park, because there are a number of people suffering from addiction on the whole other side of the park. They didn't go over there. They went to the side of the park where the children were.
Yeah. Can you hold that thought, please, because you're talking about people suffering from addiction, because I know homelessness is a big issue for you and crime, etc. But let's just stick to this. Have you reached out to the president? Has he reached out to you? Have you two communicated at all?
No, we have not. I have a formal request and to speak with him, but I haven't had a call with him.
And he has not returned your call,
No.
nor the request. Have you heard anything? Have they even responded to it?
No, they have not. The response I have heard has been through the press. I have been in contact, though, with the head of Customs and Border Patrol, who essentially was leading that effort in the park. I've been in communication with him, basically, talking about what is the mission here? That's what I was asking him, because when I arrived in the park, I talked to the soldiers. I said, who is in charge here? I want to talk to who's in charge. And they put me on with Greg Bongino, who is in charge of Customs and Border Control. And I asked him, what is your mission here? What is your purpose? Had difficult time hearing him, but what I think he said is it was to address crime. Well, the crime that has taken place in that park, and that park has been problematic, what is the Los Angeles Police Department for? We have a police department. Crime is down 40% in that park. Now, is it still a problem? Yes, but it's a problem that we can manage. Just like the protests. Don, they painted a picture like it was 1992 in LA, where there were riots all over the city. I called it in 92 a rainbow riot, because it took place everywhere and every color was involved. This was protests that at the end of the protest devolved with a couple hundred people, committing chaos like happens after a Laker championship. And they vandalized properties, and then at the worst, several stores were looted. One time, I called a curfew, everything calmed down. There hasn't been any violent protests or anything since they arrived. So what is their purpose except for to create a sense of terror and fear?
Yeah. Let me ask you that question in a different way, because you said you reached out to them. And by the way, if there's any police department that can deal with riots and that kind of thing, it's the Los Angeles Police Department. If there's any police department that can deal with terrorism, it's the New York City Police Department. But listen, do you see ICE, the National Guard, now the Marines, presence in Los Angeles as an occupation?
Yeah, absolutely it is. It's an occupation that I'm certainly hoping is going to end soon, because if you remember, Don, just a few short weeks ago, the goal and the mission was drug dealers, hardened gang members, and violent criminals. Now, these men are pulling up in unmarked cars, no license plates, tinted windows, just regular cars, jumping out of the cars with rifles and snatching people literally off the street. There have been occasions when the police have been called because citizens just watching thought they were watching a kidnapping. And the guys, by the way, are in plain clothes. They have a vest on. Sometimes the vest doesn't have any markings. Sometimes it says police, and that's it, looking like they got the vest online. How do you know who these are? Because, and by the way, completely masked. And you know that there have been criminals that have kidnapped people in other states. That hasn't happened here. But they did arrest somebody who had everything in his car ready to go out and impersonate an ICE agent.
I just wonder, I mean, if the folks in your city, obviously, or how they're feeling about this, because to see armed troops, in neighborhoods, military vehicles rolling about, I mean, it feels like a military state. I would not want this in my neighborhoods. And look, by the way, talk about that, and then we're going to talk about homelessness and crime a little bit more. But what are your constituents? What are the citizens of Los Angeles at large saying about this? And how are they feeling about this?
Well, first of all, the city is united. I mean, you could imagine that in some cities, this could be a very divisive issue. with two camps, one camp supporting this and the other camp opposing this. If there's anybody that supports this in LA, I haven't seen nor heard of them, because everybody understands how egregious this is. Nobody's sitting here defending hardened criminals, but nobody's seen any evidence of hardened criminals either. I mean, Don, that if they had arrested or detained a bunch of drug traffickers, they'd be parading them out. And Secretary Noem came here and she did a slideshow. It was 4 men that they kept, showing over and over again. And they have detained hundreds at this point. Many of the people, we don't know where they are. They've had no contact with their families. They've not been afforded legal counsel. We do know that they're staying in horribly, horribly overcrowded conditions, not receiving proper medical care. This has just been very, very egregious. You have families that don't know if their family members are in LA or in California or even in the United States. They do not know.
Listen, since you mentioned Kristi Noem, you had Kristi Noem, you had a Senator Padilla being arrested there in California. And then you had the city comptroller here, or being detained or arrested, however you want to, they want to qualify it. You had it here in New York City. And the thing is like, I don't understand why they're doing this. Why Kristi Noem and the folks who are there, because I understand that Alex Padilla had an FBI agent escorted him in. She should have known who he was. And so the governor having to go and, get help here, and then the mayor having to go to get help there. Talk to me about that, if you will.
Yeah, well, and the thing about it is that what happens in ordinary circumstances is if we have a problem like a wildfire, a flood, or whatever, and we need the National Guard, we call the governor, and the governor in his power will deploy the National Guard. Since that power was taken away from him and the Guard was deployed here against our will, they had nothing to do. The only thing they were doing was they were guarding two buildings. And if you think about it, the National Guard are different. These are regular community members who are pulled away from their families, their work, their education, and their young people. It disrupts all of that for what? To be used as a prop in a reality show. That's what's so egregious about it. It's a misuse of the young men and women in our country. And it's a completely inappropriate use to have the military fights in foreign lands against the enemy, and they are trained to kill. It is completely inappropriate and unnecessary for the Marines to be in Los Angeles.
It's also bullying. I think it's also bullying you. I think and trying to belittle your position and authority as mayor. And so let's talk about homelessness and crime. And this is something that you don't shy away from. So for the, Donald Trumps and the MAGAs of the world, they say, well, he wouldn't need to do this if they would take care of the homelessness problem, if they would take care of the crime, if there weren't the drugs on the street. Los Angeles is under siege from all of these bad things. And Karen Bass is not doing her job. What do you say to that?
Well, I say stop cutting funding for homelessness, for health care, for substance abuse, and all the things that you're complaining about. No, seriously, we have a very serious problem with over 40,000 people who are homeless in Los Angeles City. Don, this is why I ran, was to address this problem. And I will tell you, in 2.5 years, this is the first time in I don't even know how many years that homelessness has declined. My focus has been primarily on street homelessness, the tents, the encampments that people build, which are really small communities, and getting people off the streets. We totally destroyed the myth that people don't want to leave the streets. That's not true. Not everybody is on the streets suffering from substance abuse and mental illness. There needs to be a comprehensive approach. So we've had an increase in our shelter population, which is what you want to see, and a decrease in street homelessness. We're doing everything we can to build as fast as possible, but it takes too long to build, even when you fast track everything. That's why we focus on putting people who are on the street in motels and in shelters that offer privacy to get them off the street so that they don't die. 4 to 5 people every day don't wake up in the morning off of our streets. They die on the streets.
You talked about the inhumane nature of what is happening with ICE and people being threatened and afraid. I just want to show you a scene. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think it's Los Angeles, but these are the things that are problematic and also heart-wrenching to me. I just want you to watch this video because it's going on everywhere, and I want your reaction to it. Here it is.
No, sir, let's go. Sir, sir, we're not doing this. Family, doing this. Family.
Delincuentes no somos nada, todos nos vamos. Have a little discretion. No hay ningún problema.
I think this would be a really discretionary moment where you can let them go.
Right? No entiendo por qué lo están haciendo, pero todos somos familia y nos vamos todos.
There's 3
No hay problema.
Si van a deportar, todos.
Entonces ahora no va con eso, ¿ok?
Sí, tengo que no, yo no soy. Ok, está bien, yo no soy. Ok, está bien. Ok, ¿sí o no? Sí tengo, pero yo no soy ese que está ahí. Yo no soy. No.
So, Mayor, we'll let the video continue to play, but take the sound down because you'll see the dad starts to cry. They get in the elevator. The little girl is crying. The wife is crying. And in this particular case, they did not at this moment end up taking him away. I don't know, what happened after that. But these are people who are showing up in court, many of them trying to do the right thing. And then they get ambushed after they are leaving. And it's no due process. And it's just inhumane. Is the cruelty the point here?
Absolutely. But now remember the first term. Remember when they took the children away. What they did in the first term, and I went to the border. Don, that was when I was in Congress. I saw this where they would tell the parents, look, we're taking you to court. We'll take care of your kids. You'll get your kids when you're done with the court. And they don't get their kids back. And Don, to this day, there's about 1,000 children that are floating around our country that they lost track of because in the beginning, when they were deliberately taking the kids away, they didn't keep track of them very well. They didn't have a system in place. And so they lost the kids. So, yes, and they were very clear then that cruelty was the point. They were trying to make it so awful that people would say, well, you know what, I'm not even going to try to go. What they're trying to do now is make it so awful that people self-deport and just say, look, let me just get out of here. But they're pulling people and detaining people who've been in the country 10 years, 20 years, people who are showing up for their annual appointment. They have papers and they're required once a year to go to the immigration office and check in. They do that and then they're being detained, sometimes with their entire families. That's what that situation could have been. It's cruelty beyond cruelty.
Yeah. And supposedly we're going to get rid of the violent criminals. That's it. We're not going to, and it shows that they're not.
Trying.
Yeah. Let's talk about resources, right? Because, we had the big, we'll talk about the big BS bill a little bit later, but yeah, I'm just wondering if you happen, because there's some news that just happened. There's this new reporting, it's in the Washington Post this morning, that they're detailing how for months that the governor of your state, Gavin Newsom, has pressed Congress to free up some $40 billion in federal relief for the swaths of Los Angeles destroyed by the wildfires earlier this year. President Trump and the GOP have so far withheld those funds, arguing that Newsom and you mishandled the fires and should be forced to undo certain liberal policies. That's their words, quote, liberal policies in exchange for aid. But now these deadly floods have struck Ruby Red, Texas, Mayor, and Republican response is so much different, with Trump and others promising unfettered federal support in the months and years to come. What do you make of that?
Well, that the irony, Don, if you had talked to me on June 5th, I would have been singing the praise of the administration because we are so far along in our recovery and rebuilding process because in the beginning, they gave us so much support in the form of historic numbers of Army Corps of Engineers that have now almost cleared in the Palisades alone, which is the only area I represent. Close to 5,000 lots were burned. That's 5,000 homes primarily, but also some businesses. Unprecedented numbers of Army Corps of Engineers. And they also committed to continue President Biden's What he did was he said FEMA would reimburse 100%. FEMA normally reimburses 75%. He said it was 100%. And the Trump administration continued that. So this would be a marked departure. And we will see. Yes, we were supposed to be going to DC this week, as a matter of fact, to lobby the White House around the $40 billion. Obviously, that trip was canceled. But we still have to work with the administration, and they seemed very committed to making sure that the Palisades was rebuilt. Now, who knows? All of that is up in the air. But we also have the World Cup coming in a year. We have the Olympics coming in 3 years. The president is still expressing vocal support for that. $1 billion, made it through in terms of resources for security. So there is, but it's always that schizophrenic situation, right? And that you never know. I mean, the thing that is consistent about this administration, just like the last Trump administration, is inconsistency and uncertainty. That you can always count on. And so from one day to the next, you don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. Can I just talk to you about something that's really been bothering me? And that is the double standard that I have been seeing happening in Texas, especially around Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz was away when this happened, did not come back. You were on official business during the fires. And the way that MAGA is now supporting him, the same people who demonized you and the same media who demonized you are all of a sudden in support of Ted Cruz, who was not on official business, did not come back immediately. What do you say to that?
Well, I mean, I do think that there is a double standard in a lot of ways as to what is happening. And I think that the problem is that when Fox gets its hooks on you and Elon Musk and then the president, then that echo chamber just explodes. And that's certainly what happened to me. The irony is that a few days before I left, when the White House did a press release announcing that I had been invited to be a part of a presidential delegation, it was widely covered in the news and celebrated. And that was forgotten in 72 hours. And then it was reduced to, what is she over there in that place for anyway? What's going on over there? She must be over there partying or vacationing.
Yeah. Crazy. This politicization, this weaponization of federal relief feels so un-American to me. Frankly, it seems quite sociopathic. Is there a way that you can fight back? Because this president seems to just be, running roughshod over the legislative branch, which you obviously have been a part of, and the, judicial branch as well, defying federal judges. Is there a way to battle this in the courts in a significant way that will make a difference?
Yeah, well, I think that there is, and I think that we have to keep trying. So we just filed a lawsuit, or joined the lawsuit rather, around just the inappropriate detentions, the masking, all of that, how that is going down, and asking for an injunction. And so we'll see. But the courts have been all over the place. I mean, this was all quite diabolical. I mean, I remember, just as you do, in the first administration, that they, methodically appointed 40-year-old judges, some of whom had very dubious backgrounds in terms of their legal experience and even their knowledge of the legal system. But it really does seem, though, that our three co-equal branches of government have been abandoned for one branch, because you have a court that is compromised. You have the legislative leaders, the speaker and the head of the Senate, who basically went to Pennsylvania Avenue and handed their gavels over to the president. So we really only have one branch of the government that is empowered, and that is the administration, the White House.
By the way, thank you for being so candid and open about all of this, especially speaking about the double standard and all of that. Usually, folks don't like to be so candid, and you always are, and I appreciate that. Let's talk about something that I know that is important to you as well, and that is the big ugly bill, as you called it. I call it I can say that. I call it the big bullshit bill. You served in Congress for what is about a decade, correct?
Yes.
What do you make of this legislation?
Well, this is the march to the right that we have seen over time, and this is just making a really big departure, with even the Republicans having a hard time swallowing the pill of the Medicaid cuts. The thing that was always so surprising to me in Congress was that the programs that are cut, the safety net programs that are cut, benefit the Republicans in some cases even more so than the Democrats, because they represent very poor communities as well. But then having said that, I was in Congress during Hurricane Sandy, and I watched Congress members vote against aid to their own jurisdictions. They didn't want to support aid after Hurricane Sandy unless it contained cuts. And so they went against aid for their own areas. So you just wonder why their voters, allow that. Why do they vote for people who turn around and hurt them?
Yeah. Mayor, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming on. Again, I appreciate your candor and we wish you the best of luck. Will you please come back on and discuss, because the eyes of America and the world are really on California right now and on you guys.
I would love to come back on, and anything I can do to support your show, you just count me in.
Thank you. Thank you for supporting independent media. Mayor Karen Bass of Los Angeles. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was moments before the show. So I love it. So we had Hakeem Jeffries on yesterday, Tuesday, right? What was it? Tuesday or Wednesday? I forget. I think it was yesterday. It's been a long week, even though it's been a short week. And we had Mayor Karen Bass on. And we're happy to have both of them. It's important to have figures like this on the program because they tell you what you need to know. And she's been going through it out there. Gavin Newsom has been going through it out there. Hakeem Jeffries has been going through it out there. And we want to bring them here so that you can understand what the issues are. Okay, it was yesterday, Don. I know, I'm telling you, worked so hard. Don't know. So tell me what you guys thought in the comments, and then let's bring our legends in. So legends, welcome back to the program, legends. Everybody got to speak last time, right? Anybody did not get to speak last time? You didn't? Oh, wait.
Natasha.
Natasha did not get to speak. Hey, Natasha. Hey, did you like the interview with the mayor, or do you want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein? What do you want to do?
Oh, yeah, I don't want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein, but I'll talk about I'll talk about Mayor Bass. I did like it to hear. I know she's been going through a lot, and even just hearing about those construction workers, with that situation with the collapsed tunnel, she got that on top of all this other stuff that's going on. So it's just crazy what's going on, the way they're treating California, Los Angeles. It breaks my heart to see how they're being so cruel to people. And that whole double standard, and just seeing the way things are going in Texas, it's all just ridiculous. And I know we keep talking about like the midterms, but I don't know how we're going to even make it to the midterms, the rate that they're going, trying to take over cities and states. And I mean, we're not quite to 6 months yet, are we? So we're 6 months. Look at how, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Look, who's in California? Maureen's in California. Anybody else in California? Maureen's in California, and Kim, and who else? Momo. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. In California. You guys, I want to hear from you guys. Momo?
Well, I'm in Northern California, but I do have some family in Southern California, and it's sort of surreal for them out there. And I have some family that looks like me. And Don, a lot of us look like me in NOLA. And so I've got family that's carrying their passports around with them right now because, they just don't know. They're living their lives. They're going here, there, and everywhere. And they just don't want to take the chance of being stopped. And I was telling the group before we came on, my husband and I are going to Las Vegas for a basketball game this weekend. And it's something that I've never thought of doing, but we have to cross the Nevada, California state line on our way back. And I'm going to have my passport with me, just in case.
Yeah. Kim Page.
It's just a scary time.
Yeah, it is. I'm in Southern Cal, so I'm in Orange County, and they'll be coming our way soon, I'm sure. But I think the one thing, the performative bullshit of all this is what's maddening. But it's a dress rehearsal, because did you hear what he said about the election in New York if it doesn't go his way?
Yeah, that he wants to take over New York.
City?
He wants to take over the city of New York, but also he wants to take over Washington, D.C. as well.
Right.
The District of Columbia.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is the plan. This is where it starts to get a little scary. I'm hesitant to go to LA at this point, but I feel for our community up there. And now, they were in Ventura at a farm. I was watching that today. I have gone through that area a lot, Camarillo. So it's it's performative BS, and it's coming to a city.
Yeah, performative, but it's hurting a lot of people, right, Maureen?
It's hurting a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. You're muted.
Yeah, it is hurting a lot of people, including my nephew's wife. She's been in this country for a long time, but her family's originally from Mexico. But she's still afraid to go anywhere, especially on an airplane. People shouldn't have to live that way. But what really got me is seeing those little children with their father and mother, and that little girl crying. Why are we doing that? That is just so cruel. You just wanted to pick them up and hug them and take care of them with the family. So that really, I'm so angry about that. But in California, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, but we're all going to be affected in this state because we know that somehow he's after us.
Yeah, it's coming to a city or a town near you. And so, Legends, I got to thank you. Look, it was long today because I went off on Epstein, and then I did the interview with Mayor Karen Bass. We'll see you soon. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for all of your feedback. We've been on for like an hour and a half, so I got to run. But thank you. I'll see you. And it's wait a minute before I let you go. So in full transparency, because some of you were wondering about the show with Eric Adams and why the comments. I just want to address that because I like transparency. I like to tell you the truth. Okay, so here's the deal. We got the interview with Mayor Eric Adams, and we did not tell them that there would be live commentary on afterwards. I didn't think about it. And so they were upset because it was just kind of crazy. And they said, well, you guys didn't tell us that, and we're apps, whatever. And I said, okay, you know what? You're right. So I will remove that part. But for our members, it is up there. All right. Because that is what you pay for to get the full thing. And so the compromise that I made with them is that I'm not going to take it off the internet. For the folks who are the members, the legends, and the lemon heads, they will do it. But since we did not inform you that there would be live commentary afterwards, I am a man of my word, and I should have, even though I didn't think about it. I will compromise with you, but I'm not taking away the interview. And so, folks, now anybody can go on there and add their comments. You can add your comments in the comment section, what have you. But that's what I wanted to tell you what I did. I made an editorial decision, a managerial decision to do that. That's it.
Thank you for the clarification.
Fair.
Yeah.
It was fair.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Don.
Thanks,
Nikki,
Don.
is it back up there?
For members, yes.
Yeah, for members. Yeah. So they were, at first I'm like, I'm not taking it down. And then they said, well, you didn't tell us. And I went, you know what? You have a point. I didn't tell you. And I didn't think about telling you. And if I had thought about it, I would have told them. And if they said, well, we don't like it, then I would have done the interview. But you know what? Sometimes you got to do things that you don't necessarily like because, you got to be a person of honor. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. I appreciate it. Go check out. We got some new stuff on the merch store. You see I'm wearing it here. Go check out our merch store. Oh, and Legends. Can you guys, I want to see you and your merch when you come up here on the screen. Oh, Kim. Oh, Bob, where are the rest of you? Maureen got her mug. Yay. Uh-oh. I'm not going to shame y'all. Oh, and you got your glass. All right now.
Mine is coming, Don.
You guys, I have to do this every show. Put me up full for a second, Andy. Ready?
Where them fans at?
He learned how to.
I never in a million years would have thought of this. Reese Colbert did it. And you know, it came in handy when I was in a hot airport, like going through the airport the other day, and it was so hot they had to wait in line. And you know, when you have to wait on that in that little canister thing before you get on, it's like a can, and it was so hot in there, and I whipped out my fan, and people were like, I wish I had a fan. I said, go to donlemon.com, you can get one. Okay, thank you, legends. I'll see you later. Thank you, I appreciate it. And thank you guys for all of your support. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, the like, and you subscribe. And so we had some good stuff today. I'm glad we got to do it. I think I got everything in. Yeah, I'm sure my team is mad at me because I did some stuff that I wasn't supposed to do on the show. I did not prepare them for. So I'm going to apologize to them in advance. Okay. So, you know what I always say, you can be informed without being inundated. You don't have to sit around all day and be upset by things. By the way, go check out our merch store. If we have Andy probably doesn't have the merch store up. Go check out the merch store. Oh, he does. There we go. We got some new stuff, some new pictures of me. You can go on the YouTube, our homepage on YouTube, and click on shop. And there you go. You will get the merch. By the way, we have a lemon head candle that you should get. I love the popcorn, and we have a hoodie by popular demand. You guys have been asking for hoodies, and the fan, which is the #1 seller, and now it is in black. And then we have other sweatshirts for you, okay? Or you can go on donlemon.com. Go on donlemon.com. You can find everything there. You can find out where you can get everything from our streams, where you can watch, and all of our social media, and the merch is there as well, okay? So until I see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.